The fingers kept getting pointed, the hateful tweets and messages and comments kept flowing towards these people, and they kept getting shamed just because of the way that they were and who they were and what they liked to read.
Last night I finished Station 11 and I was intending to do that video today, but something else came across the desk. And I'm going to try and be as succinct as possible because I've tried to record this video 3 times now, each time going more than 40 minutes of talking. So I'm not going to be as robust in this one. And if you want some further insight into my thoughts on the topic, then by all means engage me. I'm on Twitter, comments. I actually found out recently that you can send messages to YouTube. There's a couple there that are really old I didn't know about. Sorry. But anyway, this is regarding Steve, the Lawn Gnomes video that you put up earlier. And he talked about the issues facing BookTube that I alluded to in that BookTube imploding comment in my last video. And I promise I'm not going to use as much hyperbole right now as I did then, because I did get a little bit of heat for that. Although I really enjoyed that conversation I had back and forth about the issue of diversity, which is kind of what I'm talking about right now. So, as always, I'm going to say, go check out the Lawn Gnomes video. He really gave me some things to think about when it comes to the current state of the community. And it's things that surprisingly I didn't think about, but they make a lot of sense. So go check him out or just keep listening. But yeah, let's get into it. I want to keep the disclaimer short, and especially because you know how much I really don't like disclaimers, but I am saying this from a completely centrist viewpoint. I am not against diversity. I believe diversity is very important and something that we need to promote in our community and in the publishing world in general. This is not necessarily about diversity itself, but it's more about the way it's being handled in the community, which is incredibly nuanced and very difficult to articulate, but I will certainly try. Steve hit the nail in the head for this, and it's something that I've been toying with in my head but never found the words for it. Basically, we have a community where when it comes to divisive topics like issues like Carve the Mark or the Instagram photo for Carve the Mark, there's always a lot of shouting, there's a lot of shaming, there's a lot of hatred that people don't believe to be hatred because it's justified to them to behave this way. It's perfect. It's kind of the Richard Spencer thing. It's okay to punch somebody as long as they're a Nazi. And hey, I do not argue that at all. I was not against the punching of Richard Spencer. But it's led to a climate of everybody is a Nazi now. And this is mirrored in a smaller form in the BookTube community. Not so much as going flat out Nazi, but problematic, racist, misogynist. These words are thrown around way too easily. And it's to the point where, just like in the overall social justice movement that is occurring in our society, that the words are being thrown around so casually that they're almost losing their value. They're almost losing their worth. Basically, when you call somebody a racist because they like to Carve the Mark, and that's not hyperbole, I've seen this. I have seen this in comment feeds when scrolling through some of these reviews. If you ignore the racist undertones in Carve the Mark and enjoy the book, then you are either consciously or subconsciously racist. When you use the same word to describe enjoying Carve the Mark, the novel, with legitimately not acknowledging the right that black people have to exist in this world and think them second-class citizens, then what does the word mean? When you use a word to describe everything, the word becomes vanilla. The word becomes essentially a useless buzzword. It's what the left has done with words like racist and misogynist. Sure, I didn't like Ghostbusters, the remake of Ghostbusters. I hate Saturday Night Live humor in general. And it could have been 4 male members of the SNL cast, and I probably would have still hated it. Most likely I would have still hated it. But I got called misogynist because I didn't like Ghostbusters. As if the only reason someone could not like it is because they were an all-female cast. And that's a whole can of worms that I don't really want to provoke, but it's just an example. You throw around the word so often for so many things that it loses its impact, it loses its meaning. And that's what's happening on a smaller scale in the BookTube community, but on a larger scale in our society in general. when Steve says that BookTube is becoming more about activism than books, he's certainly correct. Or at least from what I've seen, the arguments back and forth and the infighting. If you disagree with somebody and you are of the wrong demographic to do so, then you are going to get hit with one or multiple of these labels. And I'm not saying it's entirely one-sided either, because I've also seen the opposite. I have seen somebody praising a book for its diversity, which is something I highly encourage, and have people in the comment section, far-right people, giving them hate and using terms like special snowflake and libtard. I don't get how this is a difficult concept. I sincerely don't. Representation is important. Representation is not jurisdiction to police content. If you want diversity, that's fine. Promote the diversity you are looking to see. It does exist. I guarantee that. If not in traditional publishing, you will find it in indie publishing. We are in the age of indie publishing being viable for anybody with a story to tell. So those stories are out there. You just have to find them, and when you find them, spread the word so that you can get other people to find them. Taking shots at people that do not adhere to your mindset and your perspective on what the way things should be is not helping your cause. It's not hurting their cause, and it's just making noise. And then on the other side, criticizing people and giving people legitimate grief, trivializing the opinions of people sensitive to representation, and trivializing the real legitimate issues they have with not seeing themselves in the literature that they read, that's not helping either. All that's doing is fueling the passion that these people have for representation and causing more extremists to be born. If somebody promotes something because it's diverse, let it go. If you are one of these completely anti-diversity, female leads ruin my Star Wars kind of guys or girls or anyone else, then fucking let it go. You don't need to take their recommendation. If someone's telling you they enjoyed a diverse book, that's not an attack on your white male protagonists. Alright, I'm flip-flopping too much, and there's really not enough thought put into this video, so this, I suspect, is the one that's going to give me hate, because I'm almost certain I shit on both sides of this conversation. But anyway, if you are also among the people who are tired of just the fighting, tired of seeing legitimate points brought up by both sides, but no one listening whatsoever to either side, it's very frustrating. It does make me question my drive to actually do this writing thing. But thankfully, there are people like Tess and the Lawn Gnome and Francina Simone and others who are willing to be the centrist in this conversation. The rational ones who are willing to admit that diversity can be a great thing and it is a good thing, but it doesn't need to be a weapon. It doesn't need to cause tension and friction between you and people that disagree with you. BookTube is supposed to be an inclusive community. It is an inclusive community, but inclusion does not mean all like-minded individuals. Inclusion means the inclusion of multiple different perspectives. Liking Carve the Mark is not a racist act. It's just a fan enjoying a story. Most likely a garbage story, but I will get to that in a future video. Like I said, this video is probably my least thought out video I've ever done. I don't know how the final product is going to sound. I hope this doesn't alienate too many of you, but, well, truth be told, if anything I said in this video was enough to alienate you and make you think ill of me, then you probably shouldn't have been watching me in the first place. This place is a bastion of free thought, free speech. All opinions are welcome, even ones that completely contradict everything I just said, which I think makes me a walking contradiction in and of itself. Alright, anyway, I'm rambling. Do yourselves a favor, check out Steve's video. I'm also going to link Tessa's video below, which I say is still one of the best, if not the best, videos I've seen on this topic. Because, truthfully, watching this video, it doesn't matter which side of the argument you find yourself on, it sounds like she's talking to you. Her language, her choice of vocabulary, and the way she presents her arguments about these issues, it literally applies to both sides simultaneously. And I adore it. If you only watch one video on this topic from anybody, that's the one I will recommend. So, but by all means, check out Steve's too. That's it for me. Dislike, unsubscribe, all that's... Oh, wait, no, I mean, like and subscribe. Cheers.
If you are wanting to effect positive change in any issue, but keeping it to this, if you want to affect change in the way people think about diversity in books, if you want to affect change in the actual diversity among YA, you can't ignore what people are thinking. You can't ignore, you know, people who have different opinions than you. You can't ignore people who have apprehensions.